at this point, and look, again, they've got to really get their act together as quickly as possible. I mean, they're essentially 2 weeks out from the biggest event of this organization's time, at least since the last MRQ/RMR. So I'm sure they're going to be gearing up for that. So this is going to be a very good litmus test of where this team is at right now, and whether the leadership of a player like Woody is going to get these players in line. Because if I had to go leadership against leadership on both ends of the spectrum, I think I'd favor Woody over Kaiser every day of the week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Without a question of a doubt, I think Woody is a more established and strong IGL, both in terms of his calling and his play style as well. But we'll see what happens in this matchup. Nice shot from Woody, speaking of which, hitting a wicked headshot there. Naite finds Mayern, Case locks another one, and we'll talk about Case locks in a bit, but back to the action here. Berninho does manage to get one on to Naite, so back and forth we go, but look at this positioning from Pank. Yeah, he gets a freebie there pretty much, and the bomb at his feet, leaving Berninho in a very tough spot and probably dead. Yeah, eventually he gets one before he falls, but that'll do it. 1-0 for ODDIK. What I was going to say there, Paladin, is that Case locks, added back to the roster since Seroterra was demoted to the academy team.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I actually was fine with Seroterra. I think he had some impact here and there. Maybe it was a temporary thing. But yeah, I guess Togs is no longer on this roster's books, and they will be going with Punk, who I've been watching a little bit more, and I actually was pretty happy with what I saw from him as well. So,
yes.
Honestly, this 5-man unit is one to be very fearful of if you were in South America. I think the chemistry that's built over time with some of these guys is definitely there, and you've had enough time with Punk now when the going gets tough as well.
No, I do agree, honestly, and I've liked what I've seen from Punk as well. It's only been a little while that he's been with the squad, only 21 maps, but everything's looked good. The eye test, he passes that. He's got the stats, 1.17 rating, plus 66 KDD. Like, everything's looking good on his front, so I understand the decision. It makes sense looking at everything that was coming their way on the ODDIK side. Anyway, looking at this round, ODDIK has 5v3. And it was an investment that came through from the Bounty Hunters, and this is just it's going from bad to worse here.
I mean, look at Naite, man. 3 kills in the round,
yeah.
Playing all
MP9.
around outside. It's just such a nuisance, and this is what you don't want if you're Bounty Hunters, is a hot Naite out the gates, because this guy is going to tear through you. And not to mention, look at these upgrades. Naite and Matios get all that cash farmed up, and they get the terrorist main rifle. That's a beautiful start for them.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is excellent for ODDIK. Kind of, by the way, we didn't really talk about it that much, but I think it was implied that ODDIK are the favorite here, right, given the results from the Bounty Hunters. They did make a couple of changes. I think it was in January when they signed Turtle and they acquired Zoc from Bestia. Turtle was, I think, was he Flux before? I can't remember exactly.
He was with MIBR, but I think he might have been on the he might have been on the bench for a while, and I think he was playing on some mixed teams around the scene as well.
He was actually with ODDIK before that. Excuse me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, ODDIK in Global Offensive, then was on the bench or inactive for ODDIK at the beginning of CS2. So yeah, that's
old rivalry then. In that
yeah,
case.
a little bit.
Ooh, this is bold. Don't see Woody getting aggressive like this all too often, and as soon as his teammate and Mini died, he said, I don't want to deal with this. And now Brunino's hit another one as well. So these Deagles are singing, and it's all about whether ODDIK can put this tune to rest.
Yeah, and I guess to wrap up that point I was making there about those 2 new additions, they didn't change much, unfortunately, at least not yet for the results of the team. I know it's still kind of new last 2 months, but Bounty Hunters haven't been able to find any type of real rhythm over the last little bit. And back to the action here. Woody with the A1S, a big box, should be able to deal with most of these players. And there's 3. Mayern does manage to get 1, but Pank gets the immediate trade. So a 2v1. Despite it starting out exciting for the Bounty Hunters, just walked into the wrong angle, and Woody was able to deliver a 3K. Turtle making a lot of noise going back up here, and he has to recover that bomb. This is going to be a very difficult task.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a gun to pick up as well.
Maybe.
Sees an AK there, and at this point, You got 2K in the bank. If you want to just sit and save that, it's not a bad idea. You can go all the way back to CT spawn, but he's going to have a look
Kind of has to save it, right?
Yeah, I guess. Or he's got to die and go with the latter option, which, it's not too bad. He'll still get his money. He'll still get a buyout in the next. It's not a big deal. But, yeah, I guess that point that you brought up about case locks, I mean, this guy, I think, statistically did so well on this team previously that I think everybody that's been watching South American Counter-Strike for a while was kind of surprised that they slotted him out on the team. So
yeah,
I'm glad that he's back, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's already putting up good numbers. Like he's got, I think, 1.07 rating right now, which is, not working, not blowing down any doors, so to speak, but still,
Right.
I mean, he's doing his job, and Saraterra wasn't exactly statistically doing that well for the squad over his little tenure of 47 maps. So I don't know. I kind of agree with you. Case Locks is a name that you often hear in South America, and that is a player that's strong. So it was a bit of a surprise, and I'm glad to see him back. We'll see what he can do here in this matchup so far. Well, there's a frag for him. His second coming up, and a third as we're talking about him. Okay. He wants to show what he's got, and that'll make it a 4v3 only briefly until it's evened out to a 3-on-3. Matios has a chance here to make a big play, and he actually lets Mayern slip past him. Doesn't realize it either. Maybe he will now, but he's dead. Through the smoke, Bernino manages to take care of him.
Now things get really difficult. Punk's got this very early flank, and he finds Mayern, but can't find Brunino in the smoke. It's all up to Woody with his esteemed AWP. He's going to wait for this smoke to fade. Maybe he can catch a player off guard, but the smoke just will not fade. Finally it does, but at this point, Kaiser can get set into this after plan. He's even thinking about going all the way around to heaven. But that does leave a 1v1 on the cards here for the IGL. Brunino gives up a shoulder, but the shot is missed. Dink is hit, though.
What?
Dink is hit, bringing it into a 1v1, but it's planted for Kaiser at this point. And sure, the low HP is there, but there's just no way that Woody would be expecting his counterpart to be in heaven. And it's a free upgrade for Kaiser as bounty hunters pick up their first.
Yeah, they finally get their first, but my goodness, that engagement with Woody is not the greatest on the other end for the bounty hunters, let's say, because he's got an op, misses the op shot, pulls out the pistol, fires 4 or 5 shots from that USP before getting the frag, and takes 0 damage against an AK. Like, that's just, that's not great for the bounty hunters. But they still win the round, thanks to that great positioning at the end. The end of it, you still got to think back and say that should have been a little cleaner. We'll see how it affects this round. It will require 4 players to buy out for the bounty hunters, so money's not great for them. They already made it down towards the B site, though. That was a nice drop. Oh, the call-out from Woody makes up for the miss in the previous round with one fell swoop, and Pank is going to get a follow-up onto Mayern. 5v2 in favor of ODDIK. Wow.
Some real swagger to Woody all of a sudden. That's a cracker of a shot. Guys are still outside, and they've still got presence in mini. So this outside threat is still available, but with that bomb dropped on the B bomb site, things get a little bit more awkward. Kaiser takes a dink, but still can fight for just a little bit longer. They've got a minute, so they can potentially work around this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, the problem was, like I mentioned before, their money's not great, right? They spent a lot of cash to get back into this round because they lost 4 players. So Bernino does get the frag onto Case Locks, popping his head up like a little gopher. 3v2. Still in favor of ODDIK. And again, I mean, the problem is they don't have the bomb, like you mentioned before. So they're going to have to fight their way back in here, and time is definitely not their friend. That's a good tag from Woody through the wall. I think that's going to push them back. Like, they know Woody's holding the line. Not much time left. Yeah, they're going to save.
Yeah, that's not a line you ever want to cross as far as that is concerned. And they don't even really have any utility. Like, yes, you could probably flash Woody off of one angle, but then he can just hold another. Like, it's just not possible. So, wise save here from the bounty hunters. And it's a nice idea to get down the vents that early and just go for it. I mean, it's just truly unfortunate that they had to line up in the way that they did. And Woody just ends it before anything can really get off the ground. So ODDIK bounced right back, and with how many casualties were taken in that first round victory for the bounty hunters, they're already back against a corner here, and they just have to play around these saved guns.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the loss when it's 2,900, I would expect at least a little bit of an investment from those pistol players, but they're actually pretty conservative. I guess they bought the armor, so that's something, but and a pistol upgrade from Aaron. Yeah, you're right. So I guess they can try for that. The problem is Naite is getting pretty aggressive, and I think he's already past the angle that Kaiser is holding here. So that is a bit of a problem for the Bounty Hunters. There's Case Locks connecting on the first, and yeah, this is not great for the Bounty Hunters in terms of map control because of how far Naite is up there towards that red box. They don't really have many places to go.
Yeah, they're hoping Kaiser can find something. Turtle does bait out a shot. This alerts Kaiser from the top of the marshmallow, but Naite will still find his impact.
Jeez.
That's awesome. Kaiser wants nothing to do with it. He drops back down, and I believe your player in Squeak Door has heard everything at this point. So the jig should be up, and they should be getting crunched from all avenues. Kaiser's been spotted. Woody's hit his shot as well, and it's all up to the captain. He's going to turn around, knife in hand, and he's taken out momentarily. It's a little awkward, but there it is. Case Locks will find his man, and they won't go for double ops, but hey, they've recovered 2 AKs. They'll be happy.
Oh yeah, that's even better, I would say, because you don't necessarily need that double op on Nuke. You just have him posted up either in ramp or outside. Maybe you can run ramp and outside with the op, but you do want that mobility of the rifles, I would say, especially because there's a lot of rotations. There's a lot of ground to cover oftentimes in those rotations on the CT side. So good to have the rifles, and that's the choice that they make. Timeout going to be called by the Bounty Hunters to talk things over. I mean, they were going for an eco in that previous round, so it should be a buy up here, and it absolutely is. 3 AKs, the MAC-10 and the Galil. On the other side, like you said, I mean, ODDIK having 2 AKs is fantastic for them, especially the way things are flowing for them at this point. Even in that one round that the Bounty Hunters won, it wasn't clean. There were some issues there, and I don't know if you're going to be feeling very good if you're on the Bounty Hunters right now, but at the same time, it's Nuke, so if you can get your T side going even just a little bit, get 3-4 rounds, you'll be better poised to come back into it on CT side.
Yeah, I'm just not necessarily sure what their win conditions are right now.
Yeah,
their outside control only really kicks into gear in the late round, and that isn't really that effective. You tried getting down lower a couple of times, and they're going to try to see if that can do the damage. They're going to kick open the smoke, and Case Lock sees a body, but doesn't take the shot. They're going to allow the cross to come through as Woody goes 1-for-1 with Myron. Myron's actually stuck outside at this point, so he's going to have to back away slowly, and they've actually killed the lower player, so there's legs to this now. But with Myron going down, they know what's coming. They know that it's this B bomb site, and it's all about trying to retake.
Yeah. I mean, last time Woody was very strong with the op, and they're going to smoke him off. They know the angle he's holding, so that's a good move. This should yield a bomb plant. Problem is they may have overlooked Matios. Yeah, Matios coming up here. There's one for him. Headshot onto Turtle. Now he's starting to throw that utility in. Incendiary forces Zoc to go towards observation. Kaiser pushes up right up against that smoke, so it should be a good play. But no, Woody, what a shot onto Zoc. Matios gets the last on Kaiser, and that'll do it for the round. ODDIK playing it very well to get a 6-round victory.
I gotta credit Woody there for not jumping the gun, right? I mean, even though he gets those 2 kills, it's great in that sense, but just living for as long as he does, never giving away that aggressive ramp angle for the Ts. And if he dies there, it just gets really awkward for the CTs to retake. So credit to him, and credit for Matios taking matters into his own hands. As soon as he kills Myron, he's going to fill that void. He's going to go charging into that B bomb site from the secret stairs. And the Bounty Hunters have no response. They're on max loss bonus, so they're going to keep buying now that they've got these bomb plants. But again, this lower bomb site is not netting the positive effects that they would be hoping.
No, definitely not. That's a tough one for the Bounty Hunters. I thought they played it pretty well, too. I mean, the util was on point. Everything was good. Movement was great. I even would argue that positioning was good, too. It's just a ridiculous shot from Woody that turns the tables. Right here, we've got a 3-on-3 scenario, a bit of an exchange in the outside yard, but looks like on the worst end of it is Mayer, and he's down to 10 HP, so that gives the advantage to ODDIK pretty decisively in terms of health. But looking at the map, Bounty Hunters, they're kind of bottled up in lobby, and I say that because Case Locks is coming around from the flank. He's going to make life exceptionally difficult for them, and this is what ODDIK's been doing the entire time this half. They've been getting aggressive, they've been getting mobile, and really making it difficult for the Bounty Hunters to get anything done. Yeah, he's just really biding his time. There's the bomb, and Case Locks will back off here. He knows he's got them.
Now Myron's just paranoid. He's trying to deal with this problem as quickly as possible, and he's going to go all the way through T-Roof. Case Locks should be aware that this is a possibility, but he doesn't switch around fast enough. So Myron will find one more into the 1v3 in total, but Ponk has made his rotation through, and he'll find his man. 7 rounds the good for ODDIK, and they just continue to compound these rounds. And it's, again, as you mentioned, just the constant active play outside. Yeah. Or even if just going downstairs with those like early flanks in the rotation of the B bomb site, they're shutting down every avenue before anything can spiral out of control, and that to me shows, a lot of confidence and chemistry between these players straight away.
No, absolutely,
it's hard to do.
No question. And I mean, Pank as well, playing exceptionally well here in this map, right? 8-1. We talked about him being a player that's kind of impressed us since he was added to the roster, and he continues to do so. A little bit of team damage there, but it doesn't matter. It was the flashbang that did it. Naite and Case Locks get a couple of frags, and the Tech-9s did manage to slip to release one of them in through the vents. That's the bomb. Maybe Kaiser gets a plant off here. I don't know. I mean, Pank's playing upper, so that's... yeah.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, I can see what Kaiser's seeing in the game. They're getting so many chances on this lower bomb side that they're thinking, maybe if we can just get the bomb down once more and play the post, something will go in our way. But, I mean, eventually you're going to run out of rounds, and you've got to find another answer elsewhere before this half just ends. So Kaiser will come back up the stairs, try to join hands with Myron here. And again, nobody's really facing, and instead it's just damage from the fall. Naite hears all of that, capitalizes, and leaves Kaiser alone in a 1v5. Any damage is good damage, as I always say, but of course there is no damage to be had because he can't find a body to shoot at.
Yeah. I mean, he eventually will. I would imagine he wants to, because he doesn't want to die after time with a Tech-9 in armor. There's more loss bonus coming through with being at 3,400. So he's going to break that window. Pank likely going to spot him. Maybe he gets the frag on Pank and a bomb plant. Almost. Yeah, that was a headshot onto Pank, but doesn't survive the counter. And that will be an 8th round victory coming through from ODDIK. Here comes the buyout for Bounty Hunters again, but they are quickly running out of rounds.
Yeah, and this is like the main issue I'd say for a captain like Kaiser is I don't think he's got a plan B or a plan C. Like, I don't think he's developed that in his captaincy yet. And I think that takes a lot of time, and I think that takes a lot of really bad maps. But
that's true.
It's not happened. It's not really come together for him on the T side. They're still very heavily reliant on playing the defenses out, but it's just the offense is too slow. And even if it's slow, you can have a slow T side, but you've got to be like having a feeler out on a specific part of the map, always doing something. And sometimes I feel like they're not doing anything for like 20 to 30 seconds at a time. And you just can't do that on Nuke. And you can see the results, right? Where you've got, Matios on a fast flank. You've got Naite in your face on red. You've got, Case Locks pushing into lobby from outside. Like, it's hard. Like, you've got to be doing something constantly.
Absolutely. And you have to take that space aggressively, especially on the T side, because it quickly disappears, especially when, the playstyle is coming. The playstyle that ODDIK is deploying here is in your face. And, you see ODDIK already have Naite towards that red box, which he's been doing round after round. So you'd think Bounty Hunters would expect it. I'm sure they are. It's just difficult to kind of figure out where he wants to deploy himself. Turtle's not waiting for the push. This is the right idea. He gets cleared and does manage to get the frag, even though Naite rattled off a couple of shots. Nade's going to sail through, does a little bit of damage to Mayern, but finally the Bounty Hunters have a 5v4 edge to work with here as a flashbang bounces right to the eyes of Sock. He'll have a peek around this corner, knows that someone's on this angle now. Pank a little bit exposed, very exposed now, drops down, takes a fight, has to retreat, and he will. You couldn't play it better, honestly, if you're a ramp player in that situation. Speaking of playing it better, Turtle could have, as Case Locks blindsides him. Bernino does manage to get the trade, and this is the B site taken. This is the last time Bounty Hunters were able to get something done was on this B site, but unfortunately for them, they're losing the bodies. Kaiser, last one standing, 2v1, and He's out in the open, tries to fade away a little bit, and knows who the last two players are, so it's still winnable for him. There's the hedge onto Woody. He can't get the last onto Case Locks, though, who finds himself a three-piece.
That was beautiful. Beautiful there from Case Locks to kind of thread the needle there. Nearly looked red-faced with Woody on a couple of missed shots, but overall, just more active gameplay. The confidence there to swing into control, and it's like a split-second decision. They see that Molotov sail into the double doors, and they realize, hey, we've got to go right now. And if we don't make this split-second decision and go through this, we're screwed, because that's where the T player gets very settled into that control position, and he knocks both of those players off their perch. So that instant connection to move through and trade instantaneously is what wins them the round. And that's another one of those situations where the bounty hunters are saying, we just got to get the bomb down and we'll win the post plant. But I mean, these post plants are barely even happening, right? I mean, you're seeing like 5 to 10 seconds of the bomb being shaved off before the round's just instantly over. These T's can't get settled into lower, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, a small technical pause coming in here, guys. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree with you. It's not great for the bounty hunters. Like those last two times, like you were mentioning, they were on the B site. They had an advantage for a moment. The bomb was planted. It was a post plant, but it didn't last long because ODDIK just cleared out everyone almost instantaneously, and that was, again, the case there. So need to be a little stronger on the post-plant holds, maybe get into that positioning sooner. But I say that, but I mean, what do you do when ODDIK's really just barreling down on you? I guess maybe a little more patience and waiting for ODDIK to make the mistakes first, which is what they tried to do at the beginning of that round with Turtle waiting in the cubby at outside yard. And they did yield a frag out of it and get the advantage, but afterwards, ODDIK just scrambled around the map and got into advantageous positions before the bounty hunters could really do anything about it. So what can you say? I mean, there's definitely a bit of a skill gap right now between these two squads.
Yeah, I think you're kind of onto something there with the lurks not finding enough impact, I'd say, and I think that's the best way to get out of this situation is if you can have that late linchpin, you got to make ODDIK feel nervous about a retake. They don't feel nervous in these kind of situations, right? They're not looking behind them. They're not looking at 90 degrees in any sort of situation because they know that we've dealt with the lurk threat before the retake even happens. So in that kind of a situation, I think you've got to be a little bit more patient if your players like Turtle in any kind of case like that. And look at that, man. I think the flash hit Zoc, and I think he just burned Hunter to 0. That's brutal.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, he was standing there for a while. I agree with you. It had to be in a flashbang that hit him. Turtle as well. I mean, they were in a similar spot. Turtle was maybe a little more on the edge of the Molotov than Zoc was, but that's not great. And it doesn't help your confidence when your scoreline is what it is for Zoc. Let's just say that.
I mean, we've avoided the conversation for a bit, but it's a sore spot for sure.
Yeah. I won't harp on it, though. Everyone has their bad map, and it is what it is. 5v4 in favor of ODDIK. I want to say that's not the reason why bounty hunters are struggling so much. Like, it's as a unit, they are not playing as well as ODDIK are, and I think that's why we're seeing the difference here. Pank's going to get one onto Turtle, and this is just a slaughter in this round. Absolutely manhandling the bounty hunters. Kaiser, last one standing.
That conversation of good damage doesn't really exist when you're getting battered every round, right? I mean, one round left in the half, and you've got Case Locks and Matios nearing the max cash limit, and this is just pristine work here from ODDIK, and why they're in the MRQ conversation right now, to put it completely bluntly. And why Bounty Hunters isn't. It's night and day in a lot of ways. So it's a wake-up call of sorts for the T side, but maybe an upper pop, something fast. I've not seen really a quicker up-tempo round upstairs yet, but they're still going to stick to that tried-and-true default, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems like it. Naite is going to get the spray to... Oh my god. I mean, that's just got to be devastating with Bounty Hunters. Naite gets another 2. They can't get past him. They do get past Pank, although it costs Bernino a lot of health. Tosses that nade forward. And that'll keep Woody at bay. They still have Case Locks towards B, but nice headshot from Kaiser. The problem is he loses a teammate on the other side in Bernino. Now Naite's lurking around over towards observation, and a little messy on the spray, but he gets him. Mayer comes back and gets 2, though. We've got ourselves a 1v1 here. Bounty Hunters desperately trying to get at least one more round out of this half.
Looks like Myron wants to potentially just clear out everything around the B bomb site and basically single out where Woody's gone off to. I believe he opens up the door there. Yeah, he does. Makes it back over to double. Makes so much noise here. Surely at this point, Woody should hear these footsteps, but he's still completely expecting maybe he goes back to that A bomb site. Myron won't overcomplicate the situation though. He punches the digits in, puts the pressure back onto the CT, and he'll make his way back over to the vent. Is he aware of the rotation? No, just slightly off the timing. Considering maybe the rotation was from Secret, and Woody will find the 11th round. Bounty Hunters can do nothing right at this point, and ODDIK are knocking on the door of a quick 1-0 start.
You feel like something new. You feel like something. You feel like something.
A brutalization of the Bounty Hunters as we switch over to the second half here between Bounty Hunters and ODDIK. I am Paladin, joined by JRT on the mic. And we might have ourselves a very quick first map here on the mainstream. It's a ramp rush being called from Woody straight into this two-man setup, and Marios has already found one, Punk with the other. This ramp hold has completely disintegrated, and sure, you've got rotations downstairs, but they're getting pinched and picked apart. Myron will hit the deck. Turtle with those dual Berettas can't get anything involved. Finally chimes in with one. A consolatory frag, and they offer him a couple more, and the spray is huge from the Turtle. And now he's crawling up to a potential 1v4. Naite breathing down his neck in the control room. Finds him out. And now both players knowing where they've gone off to. But it's all a question about connecting those dots. Glass is broken, so if Naite wants to move through, he can. But he's really playing into Turtle's hands. He's saying let him make the first move, especially considering the door swung open and the bomb right at the doorstep. Turtle, though, considering that a potential A rotation could come through.
Why? That's so weird. He knows the bomb is there. No, he's just waiting here, I think, in the vents,
Just in
right?
case.
Yeah. So, anyway, Naite... Oh, actually, well, we'll see. Naite closes the door, trying to bait out a peek from Turtle. He hasn't planted the bomb in. He does have time, 27 seconds, so he can play around a little bit, hope that the mind games work out. And is he going to run all the way to A? I don't even think he has time.
Can't.
Yeah, there's no time. So... Now he's going to fake the plant. He's going to draw Turtle out. Turtle opens the doors. Doesn't peek around. Wow. The patience from Turtle in this 1v1 is crazy. He is now on for the ace. Bomb going to get planted here by Naite. Can he escape here? He does. Can he hit the shots? Runs out of bullets. Says Turtle. He didn't reload that whole time. And Naite is going to win the duel. Oh my goodness. Turtle almost the hero. But he falls short by 1.
Dude. I mean, you played everything in that situation pretty much as perfectly as you could ask for.
Except
and it's like
not reloading.
Yeah, you're gonna say hindsight's 2020 there, and he should have reloaded. But I think in his mind, he's like, I don't want
doesn't want to give away,
any sort of sound cue given over, and I want Naite to overthink it. But I just feel like whenever you're in such a lead like this, the decisions always seem to be right for the team ahead, and Naite just gets that little bit of an edge. And of course, you're going to force buy in this kind of a situation. Scout on Kaiser, the only real control that they can have outside. They're going to nade open that smoke, but they can only do it the once, and they see nobody. So already starved of information are the CTs.
Jeez, that's just heartbreaking for Turtle, honestly, because, I mean, you're right. He played everything absolutely perfectly aside from just not getting that reload off, but I also understand the logic behind not going for it. It's just there was so much time, maybe there was a moment. But, yeah, Naite gets the edge on him as Turtle runs out of bullets, and after all is said and done, it's just going to be a moot point, honestly, in a match that has been very one-sided in favor of ODDIK. ODDIK trying to seal the deal now. There's a nice flashbang. Turtle can't see anything. Pank gonna drop Bernino. It's all seeming to come to an end right here. Kaiser, last one, and there he falls. 13-1 for ODDIK. Their best victory on Nuke over the last 3 months. And, I mean, it continues their win streak. They had 4 wins in a row coming to this. Now they have a 5-game win streak on the map.
I mean, look at that. 3 players with 180 R or more. You've got 2 players encroaching upon